Welcome, everyone, to our live stream, Final Steps to College for Seniors. I'm Reagan Anson with Education Quest Foundation, and I'm honored to be joined today by two incredible admissions people. We have Amy Gade, who's Director of Admission at Wayne State College, and Haley Madison, who is Assistant Director of Recruitment at Northeast Community College. Welcome, ladies, and thank you for joining us today. Before we dig into our content, I just want to let the audience know that we'll be giving away another insulated coffee mug or water tumbler, your choice, this afternoon. So just indicate your preference in the chat and we'll hold a random drawing a bit later. Also, be sure to post any questions you may have in the chat as we go. I don't want you to forget anything, and we will answer them following the presentation. So if y'all are ready, let's go ahead and dig into our content. I'd kind of like to start out a little bit high level, and Amy, we'll start with you. What are some of the essential documents high school seniors should have or ensure that they're completed and submitted before entering college?
Yeah, so I mean, I was thinking about this question a little bit, and I think first and foremost, just college-related documents to the specific institution the student is planning to attend. So that would be things like scholarship applications, housing applications, and then of course submitting the federal financial aid application just to see what resources may be available. So that's kind of to prepare for college. Then as far as actually enrolling in college, things that came to mind for me were having official transcripts submitted to the institution. That would be both college transcripts if any dual credit classes have been taken, and then also high school transcripts, as well as official test scores. There are other items like, having your insurance information on hand. I know that's something you might not carry an insurance card right now as a high school student, but when you get ready to leave home, just making sure you have a copy of that with you. And then there could be various health forms or immunization records that specific institutions require. So it's just really getting yourself familiar with the specific items that are needed for your institution. But those are some kind of high level things that would be pretty common across the board.
Yeah, there's a lot of paperwork, a lot of paperwork to get done, but
There is.
It's all worth it in the end. Get it completed and submitted. Haley, I have a question for you next. So financial aid has been a really hot topic this year. There's a lot in the news about what's going on with the FAFSA, which for those that don't know, that's the free application for federal student aid. And there's been some delays and some technical issues as the U.S. Department of Education has revised that form. So can you talk about a typical timeline for finalizing financial aid offers and what steps seniors should take to ensure they've completed all of those forms?
Yeah, so typically it opens in October. So normally that's something that you're able to check off starting a little bit early, and then over Christmas break, really diving into is when I try to urge my students to start doing it. But for those that time is already passed, it's open and it's available now, and I would encourage them to get it done privately before they graduate. If not done already. We do a new student registration where during their checkout process and registering for classes, you stop by the financial aid office so that you can go through all of your FAFSA forms, and make sure that you have them all done so that if you don't, you still have time before the first day of school to get it all done. But come that time where you get to sit down with a financial advisor and really walk through what those different packages, award packages mean for you. So what's a Pell Grant versus different types of loans. And then that way you know what you're getting yourself into as far as paying back any student debt.
Yeah, that's great advice. I mean, college is it's a big expense, but it's an investment. And so it's important, and that form can go a long way toward, helping people out. People don't even sometimes know that they're eligible for some free Pell Grant money. So we always advise people as well, fill out the FAFSA, do it soon. Even though there's been some hiccups, it's still a great form, and everyone should fill one out. So
yes, and still an option. So you still have time to do it.
Yes, never too late. So yeah, Amy, I'm going to go back to you. How can seniors make some informed decisions about housing options and meal plans on campus?
Yeah, I think some of that starts with, thinking about yourself and what you want, what is most important to you. So when it comes to your housing arrangements, is it the size of the residence hall room? Is it specific features that come with certain buildings on campus that might be more attractive to you? Is it the location on campus, a certain proximity to your academic building or library or student center or even athletic facilities? Those can be all things that come into play. And then I know on our campus, we have varying costs by residence hall. So sometimes it's a cost factor too. What residence hall is most affordable for you and still kind of gives you all of those things that you're looking for. Each residence hall definitely has its own community. There are definitely perks to all halls. I always say we have 7 halls on campus. I always say if you definitely get 7 different answers because it really comes down to just the vibe and the feel, the community within that residence hall. So I think those are also great questions to ask on a campus tour when you are talking to maybe friends that attend the institution, talking to your admissions counselor. Those are really great questions to ask. How often are you going to eat a full meal? Are you a big breakfast eater? Do you need pancakes and eggs and bacon?
Mm-hmm.
I think back to my time on campus as a student. If I were to eat, because there is so many choices in the cafeteria, so for me, I knew that I would rather do just a grab and go something out of my own residence hall room and could save some of my meal plan meals for lunch and dinner. So it's just kind of thinking about your own personal needs and how hearty of an eater you are and kind of where you want to preference those meals.
Absolutely. That's really good advice. That's why those campus tours are so important. And we really encourage students, like, you have to get the feel of campus. You're going to know where you want to be, even if you want to go to that place, but there's still differences in where you can live and all those sorts of things. So go on those visits. So Haley, let's go over to you next. Are there any specific health or medical requirements that students have to fill out before they start?
Yeah, great question. So I would actually divide that into 2 different areas. So living on campus, you're going to have your immunizations that's needed. We also have a campus nurse. So if you're under the age of 19, you'll have to sign off or have your parents sign off that you can visit the nurse and have over-the-counter medications. But then under the other umbrella, if you have an IEP, a 504 plan, an MDT, you're going to want to meet with disability services to get all of those accommodations in order come the first day of school. And if you are a senior, you want to be sending that over to your college of choice now so that they can start filling out that letter of accommodation for all of your instructors. So an example might be maybe of hearing loss or vision impairment. Maybe you have epilepsy and maybe you are a diabetic and you need to have snacks in class. So having all of that set up so that come time for that first day of school, you are prepped and ready to go.
Oh, that's super helpful. Stuff that we don't always think about, right? That's great. Amy, back over to you. How important is it to attend? I mean, we just talked about campus visits, right? But how important is it to attend orientation sessions before starting college? What are the benefits that those provide in terms of preparing students?
Yeah, I'm so glad I got this question because those events and activities and sessions are so important. How do I know that? Because I did not attend them. I did not attend. Interestingly enough, back in the day, it was optional and there was a cost associated with it. And with my familiarity of campus, I thought, I don't need it. It's not worth it. I'll save my money and I'll just move in later. And I personally just witnessed how much I did not know about campus, about resources, about facilities, but even more so, I didn't have a chance to meet any. My roommate was already connected to people. Experience that as a sophomore, junior, and senior, I actually helped run our orientation programs because I realized how much I missed by not being a part of that. So I think it's, they're multifaceted in terms of what you gain from those programs. First and foremost, it's just information that was maybe shared on your campus tour, but wasn't applicable to you yet at that time. You weren't thinking about, okay, now I go here. So how would I use these resources and services, or where even are they? We do a lot of location types of acclimation that's happening that weekend, taking you on a classroom tour so you know where to walk on Monday, the first day of classes, and you know exactly what room your class is in. You get to meet people. Like I said before, that's just huge, starting to get to know some people. So you feel like you have a core group that you can turn to just in those first few weeks as you're kind of, branching out and meeting a wide variety of different people through different opportunities. I think these activities they really set you up for success. It gives you a chance to breathe, settle in a little bit, get unpacked and get your room kind of the way you want, and get your head in the right space for class on Monday, because you're going through this huge transition, but then you have school too on top of that. And so getting your book bag packed up and making sure you have all the things that you need for class on top of just getting settled into your new home away from home.
Absolutely. I feel like we must have lived parallel lives, Amy, because same, I didn't go to anything. And I know having worked before I came to Education Quest, worked at a college, and it was required of students. And I think that's genius because I saw how much fun the students had. They had a whole weekend of activities for orientation. And it looked amazing. And they got to meet each other, like you said, and wish I'd done that because it made things a lot harder for me the first couple of weeks. So I highly encourage it as well. Get involved right away and go to those sessions. Haley, we'll move over back to you. How do students at Northeast or, in general, select and register for college courses? And can they expect any help with that?
Yeah, I actually just fielded a call this morning. A young girl called. She was in panic. She didn't know what classes she was going to sign up for. And all like smoothing that over, you are invited to new student registration. So you are coming to campus during the summertime. You are sitting down with an advisor one-on-one. Sometimes it's an instructor, sometimes it's all three of you. You are looking at all of your dual credit that you're bringing in and you're crossing that off your list. You're looking at, are you graduating in 2 years and hitting the workforce? Are you graduating in 2 years and transferring on to a 4-year institute? So what classes are you taking so that you're saving both time and money? But anytime you register for classes, you're doing that with an advisor here at Northeast. So that's something that you can not worry or stress about. That advisor is going to help you make sure that those transitions to those other colleges or to the workforce is going to be seamless for you.
That's awesome. Yeah. Get the help. That's what they're there for, right?
Yes, utilize them. And they want to
Yes.
be used. It's mandatory.
Yes, yes. Amy, we'll turn back over to you. Are there any steps seniors should take regarding placement exams before starting college coursework?
Yeah, so Wayne State's a little bit unique in the sense that we are an open enrollment institution and very much that, meaning we don't really need placement exams for much of anything. Math is a little bit the exception. So with math, in order to ensure we're placing you in the level of math that's appropriate for you, we tend to default to your ACT or SAT test scores. However, if you did not take the ACT or SAT, or you wished to challenge your placement, either you felt that maybe you scored too high on the ACT and the math that we were suggesting for you would be too difficult, or I'm way smarter in math than what my test scores said, I want to challenge and take a more difficult level of math class, then you could work with our math department on a placement exam. And that really would be math only, where we would even need a placement exam.
Yeah, that's great. Haley, I want to go back over to you now. How can students learn about different campus resources or support services that are available to them while at Northeast?
Yeah, you have a couple of different options. So one, utilize all of your resources. You have received different view books or informational resources from your college of choice. Read through them. They're probably all listed in there and give a brief description of what's offered and what that means for you. They're also typically offered in a listing form online. So scour the internet and search your school's website. Another option would be to attend a campus tour. So visit this school. I know here at Northeast, part of our campus visit is to see all of those different resources firsthand. So where they are housed, how they all work, giving you that good comfort level of knowing where to find them. And then lastly, we have like preached about it this whole time, attend new student orientation. During that time, you are going to hear firsthand about all of those different resources available to you as a student. During that time, you'll be able to look through, find your classes, but also find where all of those resources are housed, meet the people behind those resources, really build that relationship so that when it comes time to utilize those resources, you're prepared and ready to go.
Yes, because everybody on that campus wants students to be successful. And that's the whole point, right? Everybody at every campus, that's their goal. They want you to get through it in the easiest way you can. So be sure to utilize the resources. So this last question that I have is going to be for both of you. We'll go to Amy first, but what, if any, tips do you have for high school seniors to mentally or emotionally or both prepare for the challenges, but also the opportunities that they're going to encounter that first year of school?
Yeah, I love this question. It's easy, for me to think back now. Hindsight is 2020. What do I wish I would have known, several years ago when I made this transition myself? I think first and foremost, breathe. You can do this. So many people before you have done this. People who have been in your same shoes, people who have been in slightly different shoes. You can do this. And you're meant to do it. You can do it. There are people here to help you and push you through, like we said before. So it's just tapping those resources when you need to. I think I want every student to understand or remember that everyone is experiencing change at the same time. Any new freshman is looking to make new friends, is being away from home for the first time, is dealing with homesickness or missing friends from back home or their pets or, whatever it may be. Everyone is experiencing the same kind of changes. But at some point, if you feel you're not managing that change, then to seek out help. We have so many resources, like I said before, anyone would be willing to just bend over backwards and help you. But sometimes we can't tell or we don't know that there's a struggle going on. So seek help, whatever that may be. It might be just talking with your RA. It might be going all the way to the student health and counseling office just to talk to somebody about what's going on. We've got a lot of resources. And so this is the time in your life to really tap those to kind of help you start making some good decisions in how you manage all of those changes. I think tell your family kind of what you think you're going to want or need, and also ask them maybe what that expectation is like on the other end. How often do we want to have a phone conversation or a FaceTime, or how often should we be touching base? Okay, you're encroaching a little too much. I need a little bit of space. I think just starting to have that open dialogue, which I know is easier said than done, especially when you're 18. But this is really that time, to kind of remind your parents that like you two are an adult, and so it's time that you start sort of forging your own path, and that you just sort of explain what you want those boundaries to look like.
Mhm.
High school friends that are meant to stick are going to stick no matter what. And so I remember trying to kind of cling on to home. It's all I knew. So probably spending a little bit too much time trying to go back home and, re-hang out with those friends and go back to my old job. And again, the ones that were going to stay in my life are still in my life today. And the ones that maybe weren't, are going to fall no matter what you do. So I think for me, it's more about diving all in at college. This is literally going to be the best time of your life. You're going to meet the most authentic people, the people you are genuinely meant to meet and will be friends with forever. College is about trying new things and saying yes to a lot of different things, even if it's something you try once and you never do it again. There's so many opportunities. So just dive in, feet first, and then sort of weed out what you want to stay involved in after that. And then I think the last thing is just keep your goal in mind. Make a vision board, stick it in your dorm room. Why am I here? What am I after? And even when things get tough, if my dream is to become, a high school science teacher or a doctor or a lawyer, if I can just always keep that motivation in the back of my mind, then I can literally do anything. So just keep your head on straight and you're more than capable.
Eye on the prize. Exactly. Haley, how about you? Great advice, Amy. Thank you for that. Haley, what advice would you give? a student?
I just have a few things to add to that, Amy. That was great. First off, ask questions. Like you have to start advocating for yourself. You mom and dad are not going to be there to be like, hey, can you ask them that question? Or what about this? It is now on you. So if you can't find something, if you need help with something, if you need that tutor or need that counseling, or you can't find your classroom, you need to ask questions and advocate for yourself. I would also encourage you to get involved on campus. So similar to what Amy said, dive headfirst and stick around for a couple of weekends and make those new friends. But an easy way to do that is to join clubs, different opportunities. Maybe that's an on-campus job. So finding ways to get involved and meet different little platforms of people. And then lastly, you are going to be in class less hours than what you are in high school. And so finding ways to fill your time wisely. So whether that is studying, whether that is a part-time job, you need to find and create a really good routine that fits your new lifestyle. So it is definitely going to change, and you don't want to be scrolling on TikTok all day long between classes. So maybe that's now going to the gym, or joining an intramural team, or doing something on campus. So finding ways to fill your time so that you're not stuck in your dorm room all alone doing things that you normally didn't want to do in high school because you're more outgoing. So get out there, get involved, and make the most of your college experience.
I love that. That's great advice as well. You guys are good. So thank you both so much for sharing your expertise. It's so helpful. And I know it's going to be invaluable to the seniors that are watching this as they get ready to go to school this fall. So if you have a few minutes, we have a couple of questions from our audience that I'd like to get to. So first, and whoever wants to take this one, just have at it. But when do students usually get roommate assignments? Maybe that's different for both places.
I can go first.
Great.
So we just switched over to a new process. So once you filled out your housing contract and paid your housing contract fee, you have access inside the housing app to start looking for roommates. So you can search by the program of interest that you are going into. You have rated your cleanliness, so you can identify a roommate based off of their cleanliness, and then whether they're a morning person or a night owl. You can also create a profile. So immediately you can start searching for a roommate. And then later, when your priority number comes up that it's time for you to select housing. If you have found a roommate, you are now a team and you register for housing together. If you have not found a roommate prior to picking your housing, as you search for a place to live on campus, you can still read that information and then pick rooms according to those likes or dislikes.
Wow, housing has come a long way since,
Oh my gosh,
since
yes.
my day. It was like, here, this is who you get. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is it the same at Amy? How about at Wayne? Is it kind of the same process or
Yeah,
different?
it's a little bit different. So students can fill out their housing application anytime after November 1st. So it's been open for some time now, but plenty of time to still complete the application if they're planning to live on campus. Within the housing application, sort of similar in the sense that they can list, preferences and someone that they're, hoping they would match well with. If they know a roommate that they want to live with, then they can create a group within the housing application, kind of inform that roommate of what that group name is, and then basically just match to each other's roommate group. You will also prioritize halls in the housing application, and then just submit your housing application. Once we are kind of ready to do roommate matching, then we'll kind of run through a process in our system where we'll match you either using that roommate group or the preferences that you completed. And we tend to start sending out hall assignments and roommate information around June 30th.
Okay. Okay, great. So another question is, what is the biggest, or are there any common, I guess we should say, misconceptions about freshman year? Do you guys hear anything, and like people that are surprised when they actually get to school, what life is like?
I think the most is time management for me. I don't think they realize how much extra time they have on their hands. And
Mm.
so how are they filling that and utilizing that to the best of their ability? I would say another one is they didn't realize how much time they had to spend outside of the classroom studying. So depending on what you're going into, how many hours you're devoting to your just studying and reviewing information. So I would say those are probably my top two.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly where my mind was going to go to, was just time management. And I think there can be some misconceptions too around like, should my student work freshman year? I don't, maybe we don't want them to, because we want them to truly get acclimated to campus, and fully understand that and respect that. But again, thinking back to my own experience, I was very confused when I would get out of class. I'm like, what is everyone doing right now? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. So I definitely could have managed working part-time during my freshman year. That was something that I picked up right away sophomore year, and then worked all remaining 3 years. Getting involved obviously is a great filler of that time. But like anything, it takes you a minute or two to figure out what's all available and what all matches your interests. So it's not like, day number one, you get here and you're president of a club. You've got to figure out what's all available and what you want to get involved in, and, kind of what fits your passions or your interests. So that will all come. But again, like day number two, freshman year, you're like, what am I supposed to be doing with my time? So again, choosing some of those things that are available to you, going to the library to study, because that's a great place to get out of your common space and also interact and meet people. Utilizing the rec center. When else in your life are you going to have free access to these awesome facilities with all this equipment? So just taking advantage of, I think, all of the things that are sort of just built into the structure of a college campus, and just utilizing that to your advantage.
That's great. So I think we'll take one last question, and it's about scholarships. And we touched a little bit on the financial stuff earlier, but do either of you or both of you, can you provide any advice on applying for scholarships?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead,
Of
Amy.
course we can, right?
Yeah.
Apply. I always tell students it's not the fun part of senior year, but it is most definitely one of the most worthwhile parts of your senior year. In my personal opinion, there are more resources available to a new incoming student than to like a returning college student. So it's really the year to just buckle down and find opportunities to apply. So obviously, looking first and foremost at any of the colleges that you're attending and what their processes look like, making sure you don't miss out on those opportunities. Then it's looking locally, talking with your school counselor to see what resources are available within your community, thinking about clubs or organizations that you've been active in. Maybe they have opportunities at the local level. Maybe they have opportunities at the state or national level. Could even be talking to your parents or guardians about things that they're involved in, or their own employer that might have opportunities. And then, taking that search one step further. So I am always recommending Education Quest Foundation scholarship search as a great avenue for students to just find other state of Nebraska opportunities. You can look nationally. I mean, the list is endless. There are opportunities out there, and there are millions of dollars that go unclaimed every single year. So just buckling down and spending some time committing to it. Usually once you get your activities resume together, it's going to take you 20, 30 minutes to fill out a scholarship application. If you get $50 for 30 minutes of your time, well, that's a pretty good paying job. Maybe a little bit more than you're making at the local grocery store, or babysitting or lifeguarding. So like, if you treat it in terms of just even time for money earned, this is a great place to focus your time senior year.
Absolutely. Great advice. Haley, did you want to add anything?
Just utilize your resources. So check again with your financial aid office at the college you're attending, check with your counselor at the high school, and then Education Quest. So just utilize all of those different resources so that you're finding all of the scholarships possible. Like Amy said, apply.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. For those that don't know, go to educationquest.org. go to Scholarship Quest. It's one of our tools. We have 2,000 Nebraska-based scholarships there that students can go through and search, figure out if you are eligible to apply, and apply away. So it's a great tool and it's free. So yeah, please utilize it. So if we didn't get to your question this afternoon, please feel free to reach out to any of our offices for free help. That's what we're here for. You can find our contact information on our website at educationquest.org. Also follow us on all the social media things to stay up to date on all the latest developments with both FAFSA and college planning in general. And don't forget to sign up for Countdown to College to get a short weekly email that will keep you in the loop on deadlines and all the important things going on in college planning. And that link is at the bottom of our homepage. We're putting the link in our chat now. So feel free to sign up for that free resource. So yeah, I thank you both so much for being here. This has been awesome. Such great advice. And to our audience, we'll see you all back here on Wednesday, May 8th at 4 o'clock for our next live stream, which is Gap Year. What's that? And where we're going to talk about what it's like to take a year off from school and what you should be doing with that time. So you don't want to miss it. I hope everybody has a great evening. Thanks again, ladies.
Thank you.